Okay, so again, Aubrey is a photographer. She's a maternity and birth photographer
Mhm.
and also a mindset coach. And I've seen her commenting on Facebook under people's posts, and I love what she has to say. And so I invited her here to talk about mindset because I see a lot of you guys complaining about not getting enough bookings. I see a lot of you trying, struggling, and yeah, so we're going to talk about this today. So,
Absolutely.
yes. So, what do you say to photographers that complain that they don't have any bookings?
I first off, we're probably triggering people just by using the word complain. So it's
Sorry.
fine. I mean, if you're feeling triggered by that word, it's probably your own misunderstandings and your own limiting beliefs there. It's perfectly fine to like post and say, "Hey, I'm having a lot of issues. What do you guys do to help drum up customers or, speak to my own client or whatever it is that you're trying to do?" But the issue is when people stay in that state,
Mm-hmm.
because we tend to, as artists, we will internalize so much and we'll just keep ourselves there. We'll keep ourselves in a low, very low vibration.
Mm-hmm.
And it's basically self-sabotage when we do
Yeah,
that.
it's true.
Because yeah, we're not putting ourselves in a place where someone could say, "Oh man, she's a good photographer. I would love to book with her actually,"
Mm-hmm.
because we've potentially lowered our own self-worth just by hanging out there. And so, yeah, I mean, you can complain, you can kind of, say something like it's difficult. Look, it's difficult. Yes. But it's difficult for everybody, I'm sure right now. But when we stay in that place, we're just making it worse.
Mm-hmm.
So it's really important to be able to lift yourself back up. And that's probably where you see me comment, because I have no problem saying to someone like, "Hey, I appreciate where you're at and everything, but the only way you're going to make it through this is by lifting yourself up
Mm-hmm.
and putting yourself in a place where people are going to look at you as this beacon of light, as someone that can do something for them, that offers something beautiful." They can't really see past that when we're living so negatively or just feeling bad in general, if that makes sense. I don't know.
Yeah.
We're going deep already.
But what tips would you give somebody that's like really feeling down? How do you lift yourself back up out of this feeling, you know? Is there
Mhm.
anything you do or anything you like?
Oh my gosh, there's so much you can do just from a physiological end to just a mindset and whatever. And so I'll name a few things and you can just take whatever you feel like is going to work for you.
Yeah.
First off, when you are in a low vibration and you are sad, angry, upset, a lot of us go straight to anger
Mhm.
without, like people cry because they're so angry, right? Like that's a lot of us. And that's just literally just going so low in your vibration that
Mhm.
you cannot, let me put it this way. If you are living in gratitude, living in love and acceptance, you cannot be angry.
Okay.
So that doesn't mean you can never be angry. It just means that if you're already low,
Mhm.
let's just take a minute. Let's take some breaths. Let's go outside barefoot and walk in the dirt. Like
That's
do
a good one.
I
Yeah.
love doing that. I have chickens here and every night, it doesn't matter. I will go out barefoot to put them in the coop for the night because
Oh,
the energy from
yeah.
just walking around and earthing, right? And just being able to balance after a long day of work or whatever is just so helpful. It's ridiculous. You can also turn on music. You can listen to some Hertz music, anything that stimulates those higher vibrations.
Oh, what kind of music you said?
So Hertz, or the other one is, I'm going to butcher this name. Can I just spell it?
Yeah.
S-A, oh my gosh, I hope I spell it right.
S
Safeggio.
Safeggio or something? Like Italian?
Let me spell another one. There's a couple that I basically look up Hertz and it's abbreviated HZ. So I'll
Uh-huh.
look up Hertz music like on my Insight Timer app or on YouTube.
Mhm.
And it's always basically that kind of music is just like this. oh, like this beautiful tone. And it, like I said, it's just impossible to be in a crappy mood when you're like listening to that and walking around barefoot and just kind of taking time. So I'll like double up on a lot of these.
Yeah.
Just to, like if I have to do chores around the house,
Yeah.
if I'm not listening to a podcast or something, I'll put on music like that. I've done it for when I'm editing sessions
Mm-hmm.
because there's something so calming about just letting your brain kind of match those waves
Okay.
that get you out of that super like negative state. A
Okay.
lot of us can get stuck there for days. If
Yeah.
you're getting,
Woman.
yeah, no, I mean, seriously, like if you're getting stuck there for days or months, there's a serious problem. You
Mm-hmm.
really need to, and that brings me to some more tips. Like I said earlier, we tend to internalize a lot. You know, if somebody cancels on you last minute, or even if it's just a reschedule, like they're saying, not today, but can I do it? Whatever.
Yeah.
A lot of us, I mean, it makes us mad. It makes us, upset. And I'm not saying you shouldn't be upset. That's not what I'm saying. But if that takes you down and keeps you down for days at a time, because like now you don't have any bookings or you're not getting that income that you thought you were going to bring in this week or whatever.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, that's a really bad place to be. And so, what would be ideal for people? Like, what you should be looking for is when I get knocked down, when I
Mhm.
have a shitty day. Can I say that? Sorry.
Yeah.
When I have
Yeah.
whatever. If it's a bad day, if something goes incredibly wrong, or even if it's a small thing, but it feels super heavy, like how long am I staying down?
Mm-hmm.
And if it's longer than a day, it's a problem. You really have to start looking at these situations and saying, oh my gosh, maybe I need a mindset adjustment. Maybe I'm carrying around some things from the past that
Yeah.
are just heavy and don't need to be there anymore. But
Yes.
that's
Yeah.
really like 100% of the time, that's what's happening.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that we get so used to this idea of this is what artists go through. And, it's so hard to make an income as an artist. And it's so, hard to get the bookings, or whatever. We like get in our own state of just kind of victimization, I
Yeah.
will say,
Yeah.
where we're always the victim.
Yeah.
Um, it's a bad place to be, but what we need to do is recognize that for what it is. Because the
Mhm.
more we just give it an excuse and say, "Oh, well, my friends all feel the same way right now," or so and so's quitting her studio because she's in the same place I am, so everybody's dealing with it, and that's fine. And
Well,
it's like, no, it's not fine.
yes, but so once you like recognize your feelings too, like often you just walk around like this and you don't even recognize your feelings, right?
Exactly.
Recognize your feelings, and
Hmm.
then you can start doing something about it, like going outside or like laying in the sun. I mean, in the nature or whatever.
Yeah, that's amazing too.
Music,
Mhm, mhm.
something like this. Uh,
Yeah, just allowing for yourself to be like, "Wait a second, nope, this is not normal. This is not how I wanna live my life," and automatically incorporating some things in is gonna be super helpful. But
yes,
it's when we just give it an excuse, that's when we don't own it. And if we don't own it, guess what? We're gonna deal with the same problems over
yes,
and over for the rest of our lives.
true.
It doesn't matter if you quit this job and go to a different one, you're still gonna have that problem. Does that make sense?
Totally. But
Yeah.
you know, like for example, my problem is when I feel down, like when I'm down, I have problems doing these things. Like I don't even want to do these things. I don't know if anybody else here in the leave us some comments if you agree with something or if you have any questions. Yeah,
Mhm.
so I don't even want to. So I know if I like go outside now, if I lay down and look in the sky or whatever, or if I like go into the nature or like play with my dog or whatever, I will feel better, right? But
Yeah,
I'm not doing it because I don't want to. And
right.
I'm sure there are others who are like the same. They just
Yeah, absolutely.
weird, right?
No, I mean, it's not that weird. It definitely is something that I'm sure people can relate to. But first thing is one, you have to make these things a habit, right? When
So
we look at our business and we say, okay, I'm only going to work on it when I feel like it. Like, does that ever work? We still we still have to plan out emails. We still have to do all this back end stuff, even if we don't feel like it, right? And so when you start making a habit of these things, like I said, every night, That's how
Mhm.
I put my chickens away.
Oh,
And
yes. I want
it's
chicken.
5 minutes, 10 minutes maybe, you know what I mean? So it's like, if you're in the habit, great. That's one thing. The other thing is, what you need to understand is when you're feeling upset and you're like, "No, I don't wanna do this. I don't wanna do that. I don't really want to come out of this." That's because you're so comfortable there,
Mm.
and you've got to be able to say to yourself, like I just turned 40, for instance, okay, which is amazing. But
43.
I'm kinda liking it, okay? But the morning after I turned 40, my alarm clock goes off at 5:20 every morning, and that's because I wanna get up for everybody, because I want that time for myself and not for my kid and not for the dogs and whatever else,
Mm,
right?
yeah.
And so I have a very special morning routine I do that
Mm.
gets my head in the right place for the day. So I wake up and it's 5:20 and I was like, "Oh, I don't wanna get up." And then
Early.
I said, "Aubrey, do you wanna be a badass 40-year-old or do you wanna be just a tired one?" And I was like, and I had to get up, right? Like, I had to set my standards at a place where I know that making a small decision right now is gonna affect me for the rest of the day, for the
Yeah.
rest of the week,
Mm.
So it's really like, how much of your life is in your control? It's a lot more than you think, a lot more than you
I
think.
would say is in our control, right? Everything is in our control. It's just a matter of actually doing the things that are good for us versus just staying in somewhere where
Yeah.
we're comfortable, right?
Absolutely. So, like, if you're really feeling that down, that's just a red flag. That should be a red flag that, hey, you're comfortable being upset. Like,
Yeah,
that's a
that
problem.
totally makes sense. Yes. And once you realize that you're comfortable being upset, then you can, you know what, I actually, because I have you right there, I suggest for everybody to hire a life coach and a mindset coach, because I've been doing that work too for the last year,
Mhm,
last 2 years, whatever, with a mindset coach. And
mhm.
it's really interesting the things that come up. And it's really interesting to see your own patterns and how you even do things. And yeah, so and it changes you. It
Mhm.
changes the way you think, you know?
It does. Over time, you put the work in, like you said, you've been doing that for a year, 2 years, and I have as well. I mean, maybe like 3 years now, but really, really focusing on this, and when you look over the span of time, like, I can say, I still get upset just like y'all. I
Yes.
mean, I still get mad at certain things. I'm
Mhm.
not a yeller, but, I never have been, but I still get upset, and it's just a matter of how long am I gonna let this ruin my life?
Mhm.
Because it really is that extreme. Like, the more you keep yourself down, the
Mhm.
longer you're gonna stay there. If you can learn to bounce back through doing different practices, like another thing you can do, because we internalize, a lot of people will find a lot of beauty in doing their art. Like, people will say, well, do your own project. I do a self portrait project all the time, right? I mean, I probably have like 300 self portraits that are like weird, some kind of odd. But I'm just saying, like, yes, you can dive into something too that
Yeah.
allows you to be creative and allows you to tap into that intuition, because that's what you're doing. You're tapping into your own intuition. But also, what can you get out of that? Like, if it's just a release, that's fine. But like, let's start making some changes towards allowing that intuition to always be there, not just have to come out through art, right?
Mm.
Like,
Yeah.
make it part of your life, make it something that every day you get to connect to it and you get insight that way.
Mm.
I do, like you're talking about getting clients, I do something every morning when I do my walking meditation,
Yeah.
is I make sure I'm connected. The work that I do is very intuitive. I'm just, that's who I am. I pick up on people's thoughts and their feelings very easily, and so that's what my work is around. And so I can't really do my job without being connected intuitively. But I will say that doing the art side of things, what we're doing is we're
Mhm.
connecting intuitively. Like, some people may not connect that. They may just say, "Oh, I'm just doing that just naturally and it's great." And whatever, that's cool too, but it is your intuition that's leading you to create things that you're doing,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
And so, yeah, so knowing how important that is every day, like, would you go to a session without taking time working on yourself in order to make sure that you're connected the way you need to be?
Oh.
That's something that comes up so much with photographers in general. It's like, well, I don't really feel like it today. Well, yeah, because you're not setting yourself up
Yeah.
to receive that intuition. Like if you don't have time to do meditation and, have time, right? If it's too loud, if it's too busy, whatever it is, and you don't get to have that connection, then you're missing out on what you can do. Like you're blocking yourself incredibly by doing that. And so I talked in a circle, but basically, one thing that I do in the morning time is after I feel like I'm super connected and I'm feeling upbeat and I'm just having like that gratitude, I'm living in a place of gratitude.
Mhm.
That is part of it. I do like 3 gratitudes every day in the morning time, and I could feel my vibration lift from that. And then from there, I will tap in and I'll just say, I'm asking for my angels, my spirit guides, my ancestors to open up my heart and my mind so that people that are out there that need what I do will find me. And that's because you can give them jobs, right? That's
Yeah.
like part of it. They don't really know what else to do if you don't give them a job. But so I'll do that. And that makes me feel like someone else is helping me. Someone else is in the background
Okay.
energetically.
Mm-hmm.
We talked before we went live, like, how do we know each other? And where did this, we cannot pinpoint it.
Yes.
Well, like I said, I don't believe in coincidences anymore, but I feel like that's another way of being like, oh, wow, someone's connecting me to people that
Yeah.
maybe would benefit from what I do.
Yes. Maybe somebody on our stream here. And what exactly are these gratitudes that you do in the morning? I mean, it's probably private stuff, but what
No,
could you do? Like, what
I'm
could?
an open book.
Uh,
First off, what people have to understand about gratitude is it's not just like, oh, I'm thankful for this and I'm thankful for that and I love my new car. And it absolutely can be that, okay? But you have to connect the gratitude with an emotion. You have
oh.
to feel the emotion. So if
Mm-hmm.
I'm just like every day I write down all these things, but I still feel like crap afterwards, well, I didn't really dive into it. I didn't really make that connection. And
Okay.
so, a tip for people that are wanting to do this, like when you don't feel like it, if you do
Mm-hmm.
not feel like doing this, but you want to commit to yourself to do gratitudes every day,
Mm-hmm.
something that I do is I take something that I absolutely love and adore. Like I have this beautiful 11-year-old daughter. I
Mm-hmm.
have also a beautiful relationship with my husband.
Mm-hmm.
I might take a moment, like I think back about a moment that was just like so amazing that I'm like, just brings you to tears. It just makes you feel like, wow, like this is incredible, the person I get to be with or whatever. Um,
Okay.
go back maybe even a couple years if you need to.
10 years, 50.
But if you tap into that feeling, you
Mm-hmm.
tap into that feeling of just pure like bliss, and you bring that with you and you say, oh man, I'm so thankful for my bed. It's so soft.
Oh,
And I'm so thankful for this beautiful house I have and the light that streams in. And like you're all of a sudden taking this beautiful emotion and you're attaching it to the things that you're grateful for that maybe don't necessarily bring that out right away.
okay.
It's something that's a little bit deeper. Does that make sense?
Yeah, yeah, totally.
So yeah, if you're feeling off, like try to just grab something and be like, oh man, and then start attaching some new gratitudes in it because you can't use the same ones every day. You got to kind of be creative.
Oh,
But
okay.
listen, there's 3 things a day that you can be grateful for. I
Yeah.
guarantee. Yeah.
So how do we, okay. So the low vibration that we have when we get down and that also affects our bookings, right? Because
Hmm.
energetically, everything we think, everything we say, it's basically getting thrown into the universe and it's mirrored back to us, right? So if we like down, like I can tell that with my preset company, if I'm like in a bad mood and everything is I get less sales in a day. When I'm like doing something happy and I'm not even paying attention, all of a sudden I'm like, oh, okay, all of these sales, I'm not doing anything.
Yeah.
So it's like all your energy that goes into the universe basically is attracting. What I mean. You
I
probably can explain this better than me.
Yeah, no, but I mean, I totally agree, and it does come out that way. And one thing that I tell photographers in general to do is if you are like, okay, I haven't got bookings, I'm feeling super low about myself, please don't post from that place.
Oh yes,
You're
that.
like desperate and
Hmm.
feeling that scarcity sneak in. Like it's not a good time to post. unless you can't turn it around,
Mm,
but other than that, all you're doing is sending out bad like
yeah.
vibrations into the world.
So,
And going back to what that is, like the low vibration and the energy behind everything, when everybody that even listens to this, everybody out there knows about this. There are people that you meet that you're like, I don't know, I just don't like them. I just like, I can't stand it, or something like that. Like there's just like a block there that's like, nope, there's something wrong there, I can't.
mm,
Sometimes it really is just that they are living in a very low vibration and you're picking up on it. So give
yeah,
yourself credit for knowing that, but also like, how do you come off when you do stuff like that,
yeah,
when
yeah.
you're feeling that way? And if you're like that for a month, yeah,
Mm,
maybe this month goes fine, but next month booking, not
yeah,
so good, you know? So really like take that in, and yes, day to day you will notice, but like over time of just posting from scarcity, I mean, everybody knows, like you guys know, you can be like, okay, I'm doing a model call. If you do a model call from scarcity, you just get those people that will not call you back, won't show up,
yes,
won't whatever, and you still cannot get a good client out of that.
yeah,
That's why. It's because
yeah,
you're coming from that place. And
that's
when you're a higher, like higher quality photographer, but also do like IPS or something, then you're coming from a place of I am worthy of these things.
mm,
And then you post from there. It's like, oh, now you get these people that are like, maybe she's worth it. Maybe I can just do this investment instead of doing something small or whatever.
yeah, yeah. Yes. Yes.
Mhm.
Also, last week when I went live, I was also talking about, less bookings and no bookings. And I basically also said that you shouldn't just sit there and do nothing. Like if you have no bookings, don't just sit there and do nothing, right? You have to like
Mhm.
something like photograph somebody and bring this energy into your world so people can, be attracted to you.
Yeah.
Like that could also be maybe a way, to change your mindset instead of just being low and being like, oh, you just go find a model, um, do a shoot and put that out into the world, and then pull your vibrations back up through the photo shoot, and then of course, you know, get
Yeah. You can do anything to help with that. You just have to do it from the right place. You just have to do it from a higher place. And like, I know we keep saying vibration, but it's hard for people to understand the difference. If you don't like regularly tap into that, you may not understand what exactly is happening there. But everything you say and every word, every emotion is attached to a certain vibration. And
Mhm.
so that's why when we complain a lot. Not the one time, you guys, don't get me wrong, but when we complain a lot, we just attract the other complainers. And next thing we know, you see me comment on some threads because there's 30 comments and nobody is positive. And I'm like, well, I'm going to be the victim today. I'm going to throw it out there. Someone's going to hate me, whatever. But you have to be able to do that. And so what's happening a lot with photography groups of people, like we have almost 500 mutual friends. So a lot
Mhm.
of people, which we just discovered, but a lot of us hang out together in certain groups.
Yeah.
And we're taking that and we're feeling that mentality and we're saying, oh my gosh, I feel the same way as them. And we're taking it to the next group and to
Mhm.
the, it's like a virus. It's
Yes.
being in that state of mind is a literal virus. And
Yes.
so how do you want to spread that today? Like, do you want to try to uplift each other and try to become more of a community?
Mhm.
Or do you want to just feed off of that lower side? And I'm not saying calling people out and being rude to people, but saying
Mhm.
something productive, saying something like, well, I really love your work. I'm sure more's coming for you. Or,
Yeah.
nice suggestions, not rude, not downgrading at all, not lowering your standards, but
Mhm.
just being supportive and trying to be that one person to just lift people up. Like that's what I do every day.
Yeah.
Like that's my job. Um,
Yes. Let me actually. What is your web address so people can actually look you up?
oh yeah, well you can find me. Yeah, it's aubreybar.com. But also, like Instagram, I'm Aubrey Bar Storyteller. I'm sure I'm friends with a lot of people in here as well. And then I have a podcast that's
Yeah.
detailing for creative entrepreneurs. And it's basically this kind of stuff every day. And I occasionally do interviews with people um, who are clients of mine or who have done like my program that can talk about a little bit about like changing their own mindset and what that looks like in their lives, because
Mhm.
it's super important. We're all so different. And what you guys really should remember is that take what you want from this conversation. And maybe it's just like one or two things that I said, and just take that and be like, how can I incorporate this into my life?
Yeah.
Because we're different, and we all have different needs and different ways that we're going to be able to get ourselves out of a rut per
Mhm.
se. So
Yes.
take what you need and leave the rest. Don't worry about, did you write down everything that I said? Like just take what feels good to you and start incorporating that, but do it every day. Like there's no time to waste time. It's
Mhm.
better just to do it. And one thing I'll say about running your own business, that I have discovered, and this is like my motto now, is when you own your own business, what you're doing is you're taking all of your past childhood traumas and generational traumas and you're bringing them to the surface, right?
Oh.
We're having to put ourselves out there. We're having to talk good about ourselves. We're having to show that we are valuable and we are worthy. We're having to prove that, not behind someone else's label, but our own,
Mhm.
right? There's all of these things that when we're in this world, that's why so many people quit, is
Mhm.
because they let that take them down instead of being like, oh, maybe it's time. Maybe at 40, I'm ready to heal my childhood traumas.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm ready to tackle it. Like
Mhm.
that's how you can survive during this, is like, where are these showing up? Where are my programs showing up? How can I tackle it? And let me take care of it because I want to progress. I want to be better tomorrow than I am today.
Mhm.
Right. And
Yeah.
that's how we do that. I hope I'm
Yeah.
not talking too much.
No, this is great. I'm taking things away from you. I'm like, every morning I'm going to do my gratitude because I don't do that. I also fall into that mindset, and I don't, as I said, I don't really want to do anything about it. So, but
Yeah, we'll try for a week, but also do it before bed. If you're waking up already in
yeah.
that state, do three as you're falling asleep and three in the morning,
Mhm.
and just do that. Say, I'm going to do this for a week and see what happens on day 8 when you wake up. Because I guarantee you're not going to be crappy. You're going to be good.
Let's have this as a homework. Everybody who's watching, do this for a week, okay, and report back to us on this stream or wherever you see this. Um, there was something I wanted to say that I have seen and I have also done myself on Facebook when you post, when you're down and you want to post something like you want to vent or say something,
Mhm.
so many times. And if you just turn this around and post something positive instead, like something inspirational or whatever, that you need to hear in this moment, but others need to hear this too. That
Yeah.
totally changes your whole vibration and your
Yeah.
whole day, right? So this is something you could do too if you're feeling down and you want to be like, I get no bookings and all of that stuff, or you want to vent about something else.
Yeah.
Positive thought,
Uh-huh.
just
And
get this inspirational quote or whatever and
mhm.
post it instead. You
Or
know,
you can ask people, like, I always love those posts when people are like, tell me something good that happened to you today. And I'm like, this is
oh,
awesome. Let me go read everybody's good. Because, like, hey, maybe you don't have anything, but what you're doing is when you go back and read that, you're going to feel pretty good. Like, you're going to be happy for your friends and your family.
mhm,
And they're going to feel happy for each other. And you're just creating like a better ripple than what you could have put out there.
that's
Like,
true.
yeah, and I'm not saying like cover up your feelings. Don't. That's why we're here, is because we spent so much time not feeling what we were feeling, right? We've been trapping it inside.
Yes. You just don't
But
have to go to Facebook.
yeah,
Like you don't have to like give it the energy,
yeah,
right? Like put
yeah.
it
But once you learn how to process that, you just like, you know what? I'm mad right now. I'm going to take 5 minutes, then I'm going to go meditate, then I'm going to come back and get my crap done, right? Like that's what I do. I'm like super serious about it by now, but you
yeah.
just train yourself to do that
Mhm.
instead of being down and staying down
Yeah.
and saying things like, well, it's better that I show my emotions. It's great that you show your emotions, but when you do that, you have to be able to release them. And if you're still down, then you're actually holding them. You're not releasing them.
Mhm.
You think that you're releasing them by living them, and you're not. You're keeping them in. Let them go, right?
Yeah.
Send
You
them
know,
out.
I saw something on Instagram before we stop here, but I saw something on Instagram which I think I want to do one day. It's like people letting their emotions go by hitting a pillow,
Yeah.
hitting on a pillow somewhere in the nature. Like they're crazy. They're hitting a pillow like they're crazy. It's like therapy or something. I really want to try that. Have you heard of it? Have you seen this?
No, I haven't, but I do from personal experience, someone who nobody around me would say, oh, Aubrey's angry. She gets angry a lot. Like that wasn't my thing as a child. But
Yeah.
I will say as an adult, as I've released a lot of my programs from the past
Mhm.
around just everything, the biggest emotion that I harbored inside was anger.
Mhm.
And that was a big learning experience for me because it actually wasn't that I wasn't angry. It's just that I wasn't willing to show that one.
Angry inside.
Now I've released it, but you can like dance it out.
Mhm.
Man, you could turn on some hip hop and that anger is going to leave, you know? It's going to be like, peace out. I
True.
love also to drive my Jeep with the top off and
Mm.
blast music. Not
Okay.
until the summer, but in general, like that is a high vibe for me. It's like, yeah.
No,
So you
we don't do this
can do
often.
so much. You can do like so many things. And
Mhm.
I'm sure people that listen know, like they're thinking, oh my gosh, I like to do this or whatever. So
Yeah.
yeah, take whatever you do and just do it more. Do
Mhm.
it in the right spots.
Yes. And
Right.
we will see if we like if we're more grateful and if we, put more good energy out instead of staying here, that our business will also improve because we are putting the good energy out there. Yeah.
It,
So
it correlates so much with your personal life that it's insane. That's
yeah.
why I can't talk about one without the other because it's like they're together. So yeah, but take it as a sign that you need to shift something in business or personal life and then make some changes, like do something that feels better. Don't stay down. But the last thing I'll say about the whole thing about bookings and the economy and just the way the things people are dealing with right now
Yeah.
is that in every economical downturn, there's always people that rise to the top. And they're
Yeah.
not always the ones that already had money, and they're not always the elite or the whatever.
Mhm.
Some of them just have the right mindset. They're
Yeah.
just doing the right things. They're being flexible about what they need to shift in their business, and they're not giving up on themselves easily. I'm not
Yeah.
saying if it's time, whatever. I'm not judging anybody, but maybe it's time to also heal, and then you get to rise, you know?
Yes. I said that last time. Now it's like the chance to do the things you want to do, like change things around in your business or heal yourself, like
Mhm.
go, take a short break, heal yourself, and then come back or whatever. If you're like at that point where you struggle so much that you can pay your rent or whatever, and you have to close your business, that
Right.
you might want to go that route before you keep on, struggling. Uh,
Mhm. Mhm.
Also, I say always never give up. So, but whatever you got to do, to yeah. I
Yeah.
have this strong urge sometimes to just disappear and like heal myself from everything.
Hey, yeah, that you could do that.
Because I have a business online that works. So,
It's true, it's true. You definitely could set up it some way to be automated and still take a break, but yeah, that's like, comes from like a place of burnout or overwork, and
definitely.
that's also like self-sabotage programs, like, if I don't work hard enough, I'm not gonna make enough money, or a lot of us were raised with the belief that, like, hard work makes money, or hard work pays off, or money doesn't grow on trees, and so, like, anything easier
Mhm.
is not worth it and it won't produce. And so it's like we push ourselves harder and harder because we think in the back of our heads it's the only way to succeed. But really,
Totally.
it's just like, let's be a little smarter about
Mhm.
how we do things. Like most of the money programs that I deal with my clients are all around generational beliefs like that. So,
Yeah,
yeah, it's hard to like run a business where you feel like I want to work less but smarter. Because
yeah, I
it
know.
goes against how we were raised, like it generationally, you
Mhm.
know. So
Mhm.
it's something to think about there too.
True, yes. I never thought that comes from a way of like burnout. I'm like, I
Yeah,
just way.
yeah, yeah. Think
Okay.
about it. We're all it's from that hard drive of wanting to work harder and do more, and that's how we get on top. And it's not always true. That's just
And-
what we believe, right?
Yeah. Huh. Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay, so that was super interesting conversation. Thank you so much, Aubrey.
Yes. Thanks for having me.
When you're watching this, aubreybar.com if you want to know more about the coaching programs and the mindset programs too, which is really, I really think everybody should work on themselves.
Yeah,
And
I have like I have the free podcast. Anybody can check it out. I
yeah,
started it in January, but it's top 5% globally right now. So it's doing pretty good for being a newer podcast.
The name of the podcast.
Deep Healing for Creative Entrepreneurs. Yeah. So that if you guys like feel like, hey, I really want to tackle this stuff, I don't have necessarily funds to do so right now, or I need to make some shifts before I can, like check out the podcast. It's totally free. And then I have a group also called Deep Healing for Creative Souls. So it's private on Facebook, but you can find it. But yeah, and then I have a course, Deep Healing for Creative Souls.
Yeah.
The 4-month course. So we dive in. No regrets.
Do you also in that course, do you like keep us on track, or is it just a self-paced course, or do you?
Well, it's a hybrid type course because it's like weekly modules that you would do on your own, but we do a group call, a group energy clearing every week with whatever you have going on. So you can bring in different things like family stuff, whatever. And then it also comes with like 4 one-on-one sessions with me, where we get rid of probably 150 to 200 programs in one session. So we really just get to work. I don't like wasting time, but so it's like self-paced, like you always have access to that part, but you have like 4 months of the extra stuff with me. So
it's
good.
Yeah, that's good. Like I need to be held accountable, or I will not do it. That's my.
Yeah, I have another friend that she just kept apologizing. I'm sorry, I'm a week behind. Like I told her, I was like, I am not letting you quit on yourself. Like this is ridiculous.
Yeah, that's how it goes.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. So we're going to end this live now. I hope you got something out of it. And yeah, you can still ask questions in the chat. And
tag me if you have a question so I see it.
Exactly.
Too, because otherwise I may not see it because it's in your group, not mine. So
okay. So all right. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. That was a blast. I hope you guys have an amazing, grateful day.
Yes. Let's all be grateful. Okay.
Bye.
Bye.